My name is Clover Ferrando. This is my Persuasive Speech 1, and the topic is how the different types of communication work in the medical field. First, I'm going to tell you what the 5 different types of communication are. There's formal communication, downward communication, upward communication, horizontal communication, and informal communication. I'm going to start with formal communication, how it is interpreted into the medical field. First off, formal communication are channels of communication throughout an organization, which that would be like, for my example, I have, how does this work in the medical field? Having communication in the medical field is very important. Communication throughout the hospital keeps the staff informed about other units and keeps the patients informed of what's happening around them and how they are being treated. So that would be like your doctor talking to you about what's going on with you, and you communicating with your doctor of how you would be communicating with each other and with the staff and everybody. Downward communication, flow of messages from the superiors to the subordinates. This would be like your doctor talking to the nurse, or talking to a secretary or somebody like that, or the chief of staff talking to the doctors. This can be interpreted into the medical field in training and just normal rounds. In this case, the chief of staff keeps the doctors informed, and the doctors keep the interns and trainees informed, and the trainees keep the nurses, and so forth. Next, I have upward communication. Upward communication is when messages are being relayed from the subordinates to the superiors. So this would be like the nurses telling the doctor something, or the interns telling the nurses something to tell the doctor something, or the doctor telling the chief of staff something. So this is very important in the medical field, because when you have a subordinate that is willing to learn and keep patients and staff safe by informing or asking their superiors, keeps an even balance in the system. Next, I have horizontal communication, which would be communications of organizations that share power. So this would be like other hospitals talking to each other. So say you have a hospital in Boston that's going to talk to a hospital in, let's say, New York about like a transfer of a patient or somebody like that. So when a hospital communicates, this keeps the flow of doctors and patients in check, because in the time of tragedy, when one unit has an overflow of persons, one hospital can communicate with another to have people transferred to them or have them transferred for better care. This keeps everyone happy. And then lastly, I have informal communication, which communication among the organizations but from outside sources. So this type of communication would be like from like a pharmaceutical company talking to a hospital, or like EMTs coming to the hospital talking to the doctors about somebody, or you as a patient talking to the hospital or talking to a doctor, because you're an outside source and it's informal because you don't have like a formal information like with the doctor or anybody. This type of communication would be similar to medical vendors who offer different products from pharmaceutical companies to inform the board of directors at the hospital of what new and good certain medical diagnosis for this type of medication. Other example would be a patient of the hospital and to the doctors or patients, communication with them from the outside and communicate in. These forms of speech can be all part of the medical system in communication, because the communication process is key in keeping people alive and well and others informed in situations. I hope this helped you learn more about what the medical field does with this communication, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment and I will get back to you. Thanks.